and welcome to the InGeneral podcast, the Jurassic Outpost podcast, episode 154. Thank you for listening. My name is Caleb. I am joined by Sam and Jay and Jaden on this podcast. How's it going, everybody?
Hello, hello.
Hey, going good.
Doing well.
So we're here to talk all things Jurassic, and today we're recording this podcast Friday, May 9th. Today, a brand new Jurassic Park survival in-game image hit social media. Jaden, or whoever would like to, can you take us through that and just talk about your excitement or however you feel about it?
Yeah, does anyone want to go before me before I yap? I don't mind. Oh,
Go
okay.
for it.
6 hours ago. So I only just woke up an hour ago and saw it. But yeah, it seems like, they're doing a lot more than what they were doing last year. So it's where I think they're doing well. A lot of PR. Seems like, they're taking their time with it from the responses from the social media posts. There was a guy that said, like, take your time, don't rush. And they replied to it, like, with their prayer symbol. So I think all signs are leading to, I hope not this year, but, the fact that they did drop something a month before Summer Games Fest, Jurassic June. I don't know. We could maybe get a release date next month. I don't know if that's too... Don't want to say it, but, like, the signs are there like they were last year. That's all I'm going to say. But I'm not going to go Delulu crazy and conspiracy like I did last year. But there were signs there.
Arguably more signs are there than last year, right? So they've like shared more insight and images and stuff in 2025 than they have in the entire time since the game was announced. So it's kind of like really ramping up a little bit.
Well, they're doing monthly PR drops now. Like last
Yeah.
month was the office photo, and then this month now is this new screenshot where it's like the incubators. So you see the eggs in the incubator and things like that, which is pretty cool. Lighting looks amazing. It's from in-game screenshot, right?
Yeah, can you tell us sort of the implications of an in-game screenshot? Like, what does that mean as far as timeline or like what it is or all that stuff?
Yeah, well, like last month was the office drop, and they were just saying they were picking up ideas and things like that. And then the month before that was the LinkedIn drop, and they said they're in early capture stages. So that pointed to me like that they're still in early like development. But now this is an in-game screenshot, so maybe they're kind of like midway through, since they're already in gameplay and all that stuff again. Because I know last year with the IGN drop, it was like alpha screenshots of the game and things like that. So yeah, the fact that now we're getting in gameplay screenshots, I'd say we're in a pretty safe space. Like, it's not going to get cancelled or anything.
Okay.
But
I mean, that's
the big positive.
That's a good point to reach, I think, right?
So yeah, I think we're in a healthy pace. I think they're taking their time. I still don't want it to be released this year. I think if it gets released this year, I would feel like it's rushed. So I just want them to take their time. 2026. I think it will be sweet.
What if they can't, at Summer Games Fest in June? That's what's in June, right?
Yeah. That's the big gaming event.
What if at that they were like they shared something, a clip or new images or something, and they said June 2026.
Perfect.
Okay.
Announcing in Jurassic June, that next Jurassic June, the game comes out. I think that's perfect. I think that's the best route to do. And look, I wouldn't. I'd eat it up if they release it this year, but it's just that little bit of confidence that okay, they did take their time with it and things like that, and it's like polished. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think it would be perfect if they announced the release date at Summer Games Fest. But
if it came out this year, 2025 would go down as the year with like the most Jurassic things ever.
Yeah. Like
Chaos Theory, Rebirth, Exhibition, Survival. There's 4, and like there's something else I'm forgetting. Um, Samantha and Jay, how did you feel about this image, and like, are you excited for Jurassic Park Survival?
Go for it.
Whoever wants to go first.
Yeah, no, kind of echoing Jaden, like I think it's good news that we're like getting, like consistent PR now for this. So and yeah, I'm fully like take your time, make it an awesome game because there's gonna be so many of us that are gonna be playing it as soon as it drops, and I would hate to have like, oh, we need a bunch of patches from the get-go, and it's just kind of a mess. So yeah, take your time, but I'm excited. I would love a date. Would be nice,
Mm.
but I know deadlines shift, so just eagerly awaiting.
I agree. I'll just echo everybody else. I think like taking their time uh, is what everybody would prefer because as much as we want this game, and I think a lot of us were probably expecting it a lot sooner based on the trailer that we saw a couple years ago, but I'm totally fine with them, especially if they've had to like tweak things, possibly like story wise or anything like that. Like, because this is going to be the first kind of Jurassic game like this in like almost decades, since like
Hmm.
the late 90s, early thousands. So I very much want to take them time, and if they release like next June, I think that's great. And that shows their confidence also in the game. Because in lieu of like another film, they're so confident in like the importance of this game to the series and like how well it'll do that it's the thing that they're going to release next year. I think that'd be cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Um, I mean, I know Jaden is, but are both of you? Would you call yourselves gamers or no? Yes.
Very casually, like I have the
Okay. Okay.
games that I really really like, but I'm not a hardcore gamer by any means.
Okay. Samantha.
I feel like more so as time's going on. I mean, I just bought a Steam Deck a couple months ago, so I'm
Okay.
kind of.
Yeah, I've been seeing you post Baldur's Gate 3 and things like that on Instagram. I'm like, oh yeah, okay,
I
that's
love
cool.
Baldur's Gate 3. Like, I still play it all the time. So.
I'll put my Jack hat on here, but GTA 6 got delayed till May 16th or 26th. It has a 6 in it. 2026 in May.
When so I'm asking y'all about being gamers because I'm not a gamer.
Yeah,
So like, and I saw people posting about GTA 6, and I know about all the lore there, but like, what was the date before?
it was, I think, October this year or November. I know it
Oh,
was sometime this year. That's when it got announced last year for the trailer for this year. And there's people saying that like because Jurassic World Evolution 3 um might have collided with it, but not anymore if they do decide to release Jurassic World Evolution 3 later this year. I don't know what's going on with Evolution
I
3.
see.
I have no news
Why
there.
did they why did they delay GTA 6?
I think it's just to polish it more. Rockstar's known for delaying their games and making masterpieces, so they're kind of in that,
Mm.
they're that like top of the creme of the creme, like the top of the crop that they can do this, and everyone's just like, yeah, okay, let 'em cook. Like
Okay. Well,
they can do that,
I
but a
was
lot of
gonna ask, like, are people mad or
no,
okay.
people are used to it and stuff like that. But a lot of people were saying that this what brings my point to GTA 6 because a lot of people have been saying online that the reason why they're not announcing Evolution 3 is because they don't want to collide with GTA 6, which I thought it doesn't make any sense because it's two
Such
different
similar
audiences.
games, you know?
Yeah, like little Timmy's not gonna ask his mum after Rebirth, "Oh, can I get GTA 6, mum, for Christmas?" And there's like, and then like no, it's like two different audiences. And even in 2013 when GTA 5 came out, Lego Marvel Avengers like was one of the best games last year, family friendly. So many other games came out, but yeah, everyone is thinking, oh, GTA 6 is gonna stop the sales. But 2013, all these other games prevailed with GTA. So no need to worry about affecting sales and stuff like that. Just thought
When
I'd say that.
Sorry for this random question, but when did GTA 5 come out?
2013.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So like
So,
that, you had a lot of great games come out that year.
so GTA 6 or GTA 6. So Grand Theft Auto as a game had a 12-year period where they've been waiting for another game, correct? Or now it's going to be 13 years.
Yeah, they saw what Universal did between Jurassic Park 3 and Jurassic World. They're like, yeah, let's do that. Let's make the fans wait.
How'd you know
Uh,
that's why I was bringing that up?
I could see it. I could see it. I could see the wheels turning. It's not like me to avoid a little dig like that. But yeah, I no, everyone is keen for the new GTA, but I don't think everyone was. I think everyone know like I said, Rockstar is at that point where whatever they make is gold. So everyone just kind of lets them do their own thing, and they have that, I guess, level of status where they can do their own thing and drop whatever they want whenever they want, and everyone will eat it up, and they'll make billions.
Okay. So what you're telling me is that Universal needs to do a really great job with Jurassic Park Survival.
Oh yeah, gaming is the biggest piece of media consumption in the world now. Like even the Game Awards last year had 162 million live viewers, and the Oscars had like 22 million.
Well,
So yeah,
can't say. I mean, are we too surprised? But
no, but that's compared to mainstream and gaming and stuff like that.
no, yeah, I'm saying totally valid that the Game Awards got that many views. Like the Oscars, they don't. Up until this year, they didn't even require people to watch the films. So,
But
go on.
Yeah, that's all the gaming news. I'm pretty sure that was it. I brought in GTA for Jack because I knew he would talk about it.
Yeah. Well, and to what you were saying, we got this new screenshot today in May. So, and you were saying they've been doing monthly PR drops. So, stands to reason we can expect something in June. So, Jurassic June. So
the stars are there, but every time the stars are there, nothing happens, and I'm sick of looking like a crazy person putting all these pieces together and nothing happens. I'm like, oh, so stars are there, whether you like to believe it or not. The option's there, but up to you.
All right. So, last time we introduced the new segment. Remember, Jaden's
the gaming
news.
Yeah, we made a song for it. Yeah.
This has been Jaden's gaming news.
Dun, dun.
Hey, you podcast listeners can't see it, but we're doing jazz hands. So, okay, so Jurassic World Rebirth, as of recording at this moment, 54 days away. Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
It's mind-boggling.
Less than 2 months.
I feel like we were just at the last premiere for Dominion.
Yeah. It's I mean, it's quick. We've never gotten another Jurassic movie this fast. So, are you, and this is a question for everyone, are you feeling franchise fatigue, or are you ready for another Jurassic movie? You're excited for Rebirth?
We're getting ScarJo and Jonathan Bailey. I'm not fatigued at all.
Okay. Well, I mean, I know Star Wars is having that problem. And a lot of people weren't expecting a Jurassic movie this fast, but here it is. And it took over Empire Magazine this week. So let's talk about that.
I feel like at work today we were talking about Marvel fatigue. And I feel like it would be way easier, we'd feel that with Jurassic more if there was more stuff, right? But there really is, it's not yeah, it's the fastest we've ever had a film, but it's, other than Chaos Theory, there really isn't a ton of stuff out there. So it's not like we're getting 2 or 3 shows at the same time, plus all this other media. So it's, I do wish that they it seems very quick, and so I wouldn't you know, that there's always that part of you that's like, man, maybe they should have taken a little bit longer, basically like we're talking about with the game. So you don't, there's always that question of how well that's gonna pan out, how quick it was done. And of course the other critical side of me is like, well, that also means like they didn't have a lot of practical effects and stuff like that, you know, and is like really being sentimental about the Stan Winston days and like wanting, you know, big practical effects and stuff like that. That being said, I'm excited, and finally seeing like some of the merchandise in the stores and stuff, like it never fails to like trigger that like little bit of you of being like, you know, like ready, like
Oh
whether
yeah,
it's
absolutely.
cereal, toys, whatever it is, like you're always like,
I was gonna say, even if it's just a soft drink,
yeah,
like
literally.
it's
Yep.
awesome. No, I mean, I'm really excited for Rebirth. I'm someone who is like, as long as this media has the word
Yep.
Jurassic in the title, I'm excited. But to your point, I think like, unlike Star Wars, maybe per se, like Jurassic hasn't like overloaded us with stuff. Um, 2025 might be the first.
Right.
Like, if we have all of those things this year, like that's so much, and it's kind of, that's why it's kind of out of the ordinary, I guess. But what were you gonna say?
That was it.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So I mean, I'm excited for Rebirth, honestly, and like I'm at this point, like less than 2 months out, I'm starting to think about like what's after, what's next. Because one part of this Empire article, they sort of poke at and talk about a sequel, and if we're bringing this cast back, and if Kep would come back, and all of that kind of thing. So, what did you guys think about the Empire stuff? I'm gonna read through some of it in a minute, but like the cover was awesome with ScarJo and the Kets, and there are some really cool images in there. So just general thoughts if you have them.
Yeah, I'll save my because there's one part of the article that I think we're gonna talk about later, so I don't want to divert it and like skip over things. But yeah, the images are cool. I like not to sound controversial or like different or anything like that, but I'm happy that there's like so much media praise with Jurassic World Rebirth, and I'm so excited for the movie. I know, like, I'm confident we're in safe hands, but like I'm just over all the talking and like the repetitive, like, you know, we're going back to basics, you know, all that stuff in every
Yeah.
single news drop. Oh, we're going back to the old field, horror, all that stuff. It's just the same thing. It's just like, kind of like, come on, like, I'd rather you not post anything and just have that trailer and what you have now, and just, you know, go into the movie, because I just feel like they're just wanting to just reveal a bit too much every single time with a drop, and I'm like, keep the surprise there, just keep it.
Mm.
But yeah, I'm excited. But yeah, the images look cool. But yeah, I'm kind of like not done with the talking, but I kind of am, but like not in a rude way, if that makes sense.
I'm this is gonna sound bad, but I don't mean it in like a aggressive way. But like,
Yeah.
I'm tired of hearing this island was the original research facility for the original Jurassic Park, because they put that ScarJo line at the beginning of every single thing. And so, and I love it. Like I'm so excited to go to this island, but it's like, you don't have to tell us that 15 times in every TV spot. But anyway, um Samantha, how about that ScarJo cover?
Let's go. I'm so excited. Yeah, no, I mean, kind of similarly, like I love seeing, you know, obviously like ScarJo front and center for this franchise in some of these images, but similar to what you guys are saying, like I'm ready for the movie. I think we're at that point where it's like you said 54 days away, like I just want it. I don't want any more little teasers or whatever. I want to see the whole thing. Um but yeah, no, the images look great. You know, definitely got me even more excited for it. But yeah, I don't know, I just love ScarJo.
Yeah, we're getting to that point where it's like, I'm just, I don't need to see anything else.
Yeah.
I'm ready for this. Someone pointed out on social media the other day how crazy it is, kind of, that like this movie's 2 hours and 14 minutes long, and we've seen a piecing together of 2.5 minutes of it so far.
Oof.
I love it.
That's
So-
crazy. I've
Don't
never
show
thought
me
about it
anything
that
else,
way.
just give me
Yeah,
the movie.
yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah, and I think that's a good thing, honestly. But anyway, Jay, how did you feel about the Empire stuff?
So
Oh, sorry. Everyone calls me Jay sometimes
No,
as
it's
well,
all
so sometimes I get confused. I'm so sorry.
I was wondering if we were going to run into
all
that.
My bad. My
we can start
bad.
calling me letter J.
No, it's all good.
Uh, the images are incredible, legendary even. I am
Give me the Pulitzer right now.
especially the Mosasaur image. I think like that image is
Oh, yeah.
something that anybody who has wanted a marine reptile in this franchise, that's like something we've wanted to see, right? Or at least I know I have, like, is a giant fucking mosasaur just splashing next to this giant, like, you know, InGen ship, you know, kind of thing. And that got me hooked. We had some beautiful covers, including like
Nice fishing pun. Nice ocean pun there.
beautiful covers. The one that is the exclusive that teases the Distortus Rex
Yes.
also. Very chill. Like, I love that imagery, right? Like, it's similar to that one foggy image of the Indominus Rex too for Jurassic World. Like, it's like you just see enough of it, like its gnarled teeth and shit. So I don't know if it's an age thing or if it's just an overtime thing, but the idea of mutants and like genetic mishaps and stuff has gotten so much more appealing to me. Like, and I feel like every time something else is mentioned, I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. Let's do it. You know, like it just brings back that feeling of chaos theory, especially that cover specifically, because it was like the reds and the blacks. But anyway, I'm excited. I tried to go to Barnes & Noble before coming here, and they didn't have it. So I'll have to go check again next week.
It's flapping its wings. It's almost on over here from the UK.
Right.
So, I was just going to shout out the artist on that Distortus Rex cover, which is Tim McDonough. And I'm not even sure I'm saying that fully correctly because I'm an American, but
That's a good shout
anyway.
out, though. Well deserved.
So real quick, I'm gonna go through the Empire article, but I just want to ask y'all really quickly because the Distortus Rex came up. What do y'all think about the Distortus Rex? But more, what do you think about that name? Jay, you just like
I said, I'm like, as time has gotten on, it's weird because I feel like as a kid when Chaos Theory or Chaos Effect toys came out, like it was the shit, right? Like I was all about it. And then when the premise of like dino human hybrids specifically came up around like 2004 2005, I was like, no, that's awful, that's so stupid. And that like
Daihu dogs.
right, like that became so like nonsensical. And then ever since Jurassic World, it's just become more and more like, you know what? Yeah. So like we've had Indominus Rex, we've had Indoraptor, we've had the Scorpius Rex, and now we have the Distortus Rex and the Mutadons. What it feels like is that they wanted to use Diablois Rex and couldn't. Whether or not that's because Voodoo Donuts now has the copyright to it or not, I have no idea. But yeah,
That's such a random thing to get it, but yeah.
But it's just, I will say, I guess like the name's a little weird. Like it's the same thing as like Indominus Rex. Like any of these, like none of them have really run to me necessarily, but that doesn't mean that they're bad. I guess it's just because I also can't think of like what I would name it, but it also, I probably would have put in a different kind of mutant also, or different kind of like hybrid personally. but that's also without knowing the story and what purpose it serves and stuff like that. You know,
Yeah.
thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
No, and David Kep gets into the whole genetic experiment idea a little bit in the article, which I appreciated. The names are always Latin. So like Distortus Rex, I forget exactly what it means, but it means like twisted or distorted, I think. But so it makes sense, I guess. What I wonder is like, is this gonna be on a screen somewhere, or did someone just make this up, or is someone just say it in passing, or
Right.
yeah. But Samantha, Jaden, did y'all have Distortus Rex thoughts?
Did you want to go first, Sam?
Sure. I'm fine with it for the time being. I really want to see what they do with it in the movie because I don't like I'm fine with mutations and stuff. Like we've talked in like our group chat. But I like the kind of implications of doing these things, and like we've only seen the pretty dinosaur mutations, and there's the fucked up ones. Like it's just gonna happen. So I like being able to see that side of it. I'm just hoping it's not like a huge focus of this movie because it's not really pleasing to look at. So
I think that's the point.
yeah, but it's not even like super gross. Like I would prefer if it would have leaned more into like real horror, like grotesque, but I get why they didn't. But yeah.
And that would be, I wonder how many other mutants we're gonna see, because we've got mutadons in the vernacular now. And we'll talk about those, but like it would be, to what you're saying, it'd be very Crichton to see like very visceral effects of like cloning, like experimentation. And if we were seeing like, I mean, not to get too gruesome here on this podcast, but if we were seeing like broken skin and like open flesh and like biological
Sores.
complications
Yep.
cosmetically, like
Yeah.
that would be very Crichton. So like I wonder how much of that we're gonna see. But Jaden, Distortus Rex, go.
Yeah, the name, I will call it Amy still.
Amy, yes, we
Yeah.
have to bring that up. Yes.
I can't ship away from that. It's happened. It's in motion. It's set. It's always gonna be Amy, no matter what. Project Amy.
Amy loves ScarJo.
I ditto to what Sam was saying. Like I love the fact like I'm more inclined to like this concept a lot more than like the dino hybrids and things like that, because there's only so many times you can make like something for the military and stuff like that. Whereas this is a mistake. This is like a fuck up. This is like a oh shit, we fucked up, pulling the curtain back and seeing all like the messed up stuff that they did to get to where they got into Jurassic Park. So yeah, ditto to what Sam said. But also to what Sam said, like the whole thing of I hope it's not a huge focus, and I guess that leads back to the whole question: if they do a second movie, like I wouldn't want to see one again with mutants in it. I'm fine for just this one because it's a cool concept and things like that. Love it, but yeah, like I guess what you said as well, Caleb. We're at that time now, like movie's almost here, but where do we go after that? Because there has been like little inklings of like the second movie and stuff like that. Because yeah, I don't know if I'd be happy seeing mutants show up again.
It'll be interesting because like when you have this island of Dr. Moreau of abandoned creatures that you hope no one was going to find, and you have a movie about going there and figuring out that that's what the place is, you would think maybe that like I don't know if hopefully is the right word, but like you would think maybe the plot resolution would be like we solve this problem, we figure out what to do with this island or what to do with these creatures or whatever. But so where a second movie might come up is like if they quite literally can't solve the problem of this island, or like Amy escapes. I don't know about that, but or like, there's some lasting or worldwide effect that comes from this island. Like maybe we've speculated on previous podcasts. I don't remember who said it, but like I think it might have been Ryan, but like we were speculating that like maybe something about Amy or the mutants is like a hub or like releases some sort of disease or virus or something, and like that ends up being something that like is hard to put back in the box. So like that could maybe like spark a bigger story, but I don't know. Rebirth hasn't even come out yet. What are we talking about?
True. I was just going off what everyone was saying and what we're talking about.
No,
It just
but
made
like
me think.
I have sort of started thinking about that though. Like where does this story go? And the other day I even sort of had the thought, I was like, what if the 7th Jurassic Park movie is the last one? Like what if the story
This
is
is it.
neat and tied up and we don't want another one? But I think we all know that's probably not going to happen. So
People
Here's a
like their
rebirth.
money, so
People-
no, they're gonna keep making movies.
yeah, I know. Okay, so let's dive into this Empire article, and we can stop and talk about stuff. So, on this first spread here, there is a massive image that is, from what I understand, not a still from the movie, but like a production. It's production photography. The one with ScarJo hanging off the edge of the boat. I don't know what's that? I'm not up on my maritime terms. What is that extended thing called? The catwalk or something?
Yeah, I don't know anything about
I'm asking y'all as if you know.
Boat people.
Yeah.
Anyway, ScarJo is hanging off the catwalk on the front of this boat. We'll call it that for right now. She's got her gun that we've seen in previous photos in her hand. Jonathan Bailey has also seemingly been like knocked over and is leaning up against the railing. And it's the boat that is in that mosasaur scene in the trailer. And then there's also a shot of the Spinosaurus from the trailer right next to Isabella Delgado, I think that is. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then on the other side of that spread is a new photo of Gareth Edwards behind the camera as it's on a rig in the long grass. So, and I'm seeing someone in the background of that photo, and I'm trying to see who it is. I don't know. I think it's just crew, actually. But anyway, so the article says this, beams Jonathan Bailey, is about as Jurassic as it gets. It is late September 2024, a few hours after sunset, and Empire has joined the actor on the backlot of Sky Studios' L Street, where Jurassic World Rebirth is rounding off a full pelt summer-long shoot. Bailey's not wrong. We are hit with an overwhelming sense of familiarity. There are tall wire fences signposted, danger, 10,000 volts. And that's actually an image we got of Rupert Friend, Martin Krebs, Duncan Kincaid, and Zora, and Dr. Loomis walking in front of that electrical fence with very InGen looking signs and, Jurassic locale in the background, but what looks sort of like a factory or something. There's in that photo, there's a long thing that looks like a conveyor belt, and my mind was like imagining little baby dinosaurs going off of that conveyor belt like we're just pumping them out. But anyway, article continues. Let's see. There's the presence of an electric Jeep which, despite a new paint job, bears that classic Rex skeleton logo. And most pertinently, there are the carnivorous dinosaurs. Tonight, says Bailey with a grin, the raptors are out. Sam's making an excited face. How did that hit you? The raptors are out. That feels good, right?
Yeah, speak my language.
The cameras roll, and in character as intrepid paleontologist Henry Loomis, that's 4 wonderful words right in a row. intrepid paleontologist Henry Loomis. The bespectacled actor steps forward intently. He's grimed up and sweat-soaked like his fellow cast members. Scarlett Johansson as military specialist Zora Bennett. Mahershala Ali as her seasoned comrade Duncan Kincaid, and Rupert Friend as Martin Krebs, the morally suspect company man who's bankrolled this expedition gone horribly wrong. So I want to bring this up right now because it is exciting. Because speaking of Martin Krebs, there's another photo in this article of Martin Krebs next to that electric Jurassic Jeep and ScarJo under that electric Jurassic Jeep. And that we'll have to see if it's actually a Jeep. Maybe it is. I don't know. But this is a rhetorical question. What novel scene does that remind you of? Tell us.
The Lost World.
Okay, tell us what happens in that scene.
So towards the end of The Lost World, when Sarah Harding's underneath the Explorer, because it's like shorted out, but then originally there was Packies, then something scares him away, and then she sees 2 feet, and lo and behold, it's Lewis Dodgson, the bastard, and a struggle ensues, which eventually leads to Sarah Harding being a badass, kicking him out from underneath the vehicle into a Tyrannosaur's jaws.
Yes. Any version of an adaptation of that with ScarJo,
yes,
I will eat it up. And to be honest, ScarJo engaging in as many Sarah Harding activities as I think she's going to in this movie, like, I'm so excited about that, honestly. So that would be, I don't know, is Martin Krebs the bad guy? I don't know, but probably. But like I said, if ScarJo kicks him out from under that, and then
it's been discussed on here.
Yeah, we've discussed that in the past. I kind of worry about Dr. Loomis and what the depth of his motivations are. But
yeah, it's not. It's there. Like it's been said in passing.
Yeah. So I mean, I think there's going to be some satisfying deaths in this movie.
I'm excited.
Which there should be in a Jurassic movie.
So what's your story? Sorry.
Oh, hot take, or I don't know, but like I actually really like that because Dodgson is a arrogant buffoon, and he would say something stupid like that. But anyway, let's see. The article continues. Together with the disheveled, shipwrecked family, Manuel Garcia Rufo, Luna Blaze, David Iacono, Audrina Miranda, that has complicated their dino DNA harvesting mission on a remote Atlantic island. They stand frozen in fear on the forecourt of a long-abandoned gas station as the velociraptors approach. Getting some Lost World vibes here. Continued Lost World vibes here. Or rather, the Raptors stand-ins, a pair of performers stalking forward in black bodysuits, their heads bobbing beneath long-snouted helmets, detailed with the deadly predator's distinctive features. Friend points his pistol at them. They pause, spooked, then back away, disappearing into the misty night. "Yeah, you better run," Friend yells, but Bailey cautions him. "No, that wasn't the gun," he says. "It was something else." So that gives me chills. I like that. Yes. Yeah. What do y'all think about that?
Good vibes.
Think of my language.
Yes. Continuing to speak our language. They are. I mean, we said we're tired of the talk, but they're speaking our language.
I say it so much, and then I'm there reading everything, like on the train to where I'm like eating it up. I'm like, oh, this is sick.
As we read this entire article on this podcast.
Yeah.
Very Jurassic. Honestly, I mean, Like, I don't know. It's a
I
different, like the raptors backing away and going into the forest because they're scared of something bigger. Like that
It's
hasn't
also very Lost
happened
World.
in a little while.
It's the novel.
Yes.
Again, like there's a lot
Yeah.
of like thing, which of course, like I'm really excited about personally because I love that book, and there's so much of it that can be used for a film that hasn't. And so, for the last like couple months, I feel like they've been like, oh, we're using the raft scene, we're using the scene from the first book that we haven't been able to use, when really it feels more so like there's a lot of the second book that hasn't been used that they're also using. If nothing else, like just like base inspiration for a lot of these moments.
Yeah, and Kep said a while back that he revisited both novels when he was writing, and we're gonna be the beneficiaries of that, I think. So, the article continues. We might be back on very familiar territory, but there's something new lurking in its flora. Something worse. Something even the raptors fear. It's really a horror film, says director Gareth Edwards, which is a sentence that makes me very, very happy, personally. And I
PG, by the
know
way.
a lot of other folks probably. But it's, no one said that about Jurassic in a long time. So, anyway, and I thought this was funny, but they're describing Gareth Edwards here, and they say his still boyish features poking out the top of a long raincoat. I was like, okay, like you can just tell us he's British. You don't have to like insult him. But anyway, he's talking here about the original Jurassic Park, but the fact he's expressing this while in the midst of making his own Jurassic movie suggests to Empire it's a mission statement for Rebirth 2. It's the sort of horror you enjoy, rather than stuff that will traumatize you forever, he continues. Like the way people enjoy fairground rides, but it's full-on darkness, right? Aside from his previous gargantuan creature features, 2010 self-funded guerrilla debut Monsters, which everyone should go watch, and 2014's Godzilla, and his experiences in the sci-fi sphere, 2016's Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, and 2023's The Creator. I'm going to say this wrong. God damn it. The Nuneaton-born filmmakers' Jurassic fervor and knowledge make him especially qualified to take on its sixth sequel. Sixth sequel to Jurassic Park, everybody. He reflects fondly on first seeing the 93 original when he just turned 18. There's a dotted line in the history of cinema, before and after Jurassic Park, he says. And in his own life too. Jurassic Park's groundbreaking photoreal CGI was one of the reasons he went on to work in visual effects, before striking out as a director. Let's see. I don't want to bore everyone with this whole thing, perhaps, but let's see. Oddly enough, the day Edwards read that Universal was looking for someone to helm the latest in the series, Bullet Train's David Leitch having declined an offer. A moment of silence for that.
Was that the first time they said that he declined?
It is interesting that they say that. I don't.
Yeah.
There were other reports about that, but we'll leave it at that. He just finished rewatching Jurassic Park for the umpteenth time while taking copious notes. Listen to that. Taking copious
Google
notes about Jurassic
one
Park.
Of us.
Yeah. One of us. And Gareth says, I do that now and again with films I really like, where I try and analyze them and see where they're good. That's awesome. He forwarded the news article to his agent with the message, "Is this stupid?" Only to find that producer Frank Marshall, who'd made the previous 3 Jurassic Worlds, had already just got in touch to gauge Edwards' interest. That's pretty awesome.
That.
Stars aligning.
Awesome. We've got good people on this thing. So the next sort of 2-page spread that we're moving to has that photo of Krebs and Duncan Kincaid and Zora and Dr. Loomis walking in front of that electrified fence. It has a big blown up quote from Frank Marshall that says, "This is a new era of Jurassic World. We wanted to reinvigorate the franchise." And that's Frank Marshall saying that. Thoughts?
When did he say that? Like 2019?
Well, my mind goes back to the Dominion marketing that was like the end of the
Right.
Jurassic era.
Yeah.
Right.
End of an era. End of an era. The last
Which
one.
it's marketing. It's
Right,
fun. I
right.
get it. Like it's fine, but like it's just
it's
kind of
just
funny.
funny.
Over the top.
I'm glad we're in a new era. So although Frank Marshall confesses he wasn't at the time aware the director was a fan, he'd simply approached him because Gareth's a fantastic visual stylist who had all the elements we needed in order to do this movie in the right way. So I like that. After reading and loving the script by David Koepp, who's returned to Jurassic Park, and in parentheses it says, or world as it is now known. So there's a interesting little phrase.
Okay.
For us, I guess.
Yeah, that's okay.
For the first time since writing the first two Steven Spielberg directed movies, Edwards found himself in a room with the primo park keeper himself. Spielberg is an executive producer on this film. The only thing I can compare it to is having to show George Lucas around the set of a Star Wars film, Edwards said. Speaking from experience, I definitely believe I am in the Matrix, and I chose film director as my simulation, because this shouldn't really happen. For his part, Koepp is very pleased that Spielberg and Edwards hit it off. Gareth is terrific, the writer says. He's such a great match for this. While he doesn't quite follow Edwards' horror movie take, Koepp does concur that Rebirth looks back to the original film, even while it leaps forward. I thought it was interesting that Koepp sort of like had a, I don't know, they indicate that Koepp doesn't fully agree with the
Yeah.
that it's a horror movie, which is interesting. We decided early on that because the first and second trilogies have concluded their stories, let's not restrict ourselves in any way. Let's have all new characters in an all new location, he says of a plot which picks up 5 years after Jurassic World Dominion, when dinosaurs have struggled to survive in most human-habited environments and regressed to the equatorial regions. After Dominion's climactic twin trilogy cast mashup, that's a mouthful, we're now meeting a whole new gang with no link to either Team Park or Team World.
What?
It's so funny to that phrase is just so funny to me. Team Park, Team World, and they're both like capitalized as proper nouns
Right.
in this article. So
they're saying that they have no ties with the previous characters.
I mean, essentially, that's what they're saying. Like, they're not saying like obviously the movie is tied, but like these are brand new characters, is what they're saying.
Yeah, I get that, but I remember in one of the articles they like referenced Alan Grant being in somewhat.
Oh, well,
yeah.
Right after, so it says we're now meeting a whole new gang with no link to either Team Park or Team World. I really just want to do a cheerleading move every time I read
These shirts.
Aside from a minor detail, Bailey teases, which provides a connection between Loomis and Alan Grant.
Okay.
So,
I jumped the gun.
which
Sorry,
is
my bad.
interesting that they have like verbatim confirmed that.
Yeah.
Because it started out as like
Twice.
sort of a rumor, and then now they've said it in like two things. So, the whole point, says Marshall, was to start a new era of Jurassic World. We really wanted to reinvigorate the franchise. No problem there. The clue is in the title, he says. You don't say. Yet this revitalization couldn't work without some early 90s DNA, Koepp explains. And I'll get to that in a second. But in between that part of the sentence and the next part is that glorious, beautiful Mosasaurus breaching image It's so awesome. It's great. The and feel free to share your Mosasaurus thoughts. Please interrupt me. But like, it looks so marine. It looks so fishy. It's like brown and green, and
Majestic.
yeah. Do
Yeah.
y'all are you all Mosasaurus lovers?
I can't wait to get the colossal one. I
Are you
love the new
fans of the
design.
Mosasaurus?
I do as
Big fan.
well.
Big fan.
I'm excited that we seem to have more scenes with it. Like, I agree with Ben. Like, it really doesn't feel like we've been utilizing the Mosasaur enough, like, in this franchise. So,
Definitely not.
I mean, honestly, same for pterosaurs. Although they've had a couple of good sequences, I'm excited. Anytime we have more pterosaur sequences, I'm all about it because they have been so underutilized, I feel, in this franchise. Or they've basically been like
Absolutely.
fodder, especially for the World
Mhm.
franchise. They've just like kind of been there.
The best, I mean, so the Lost World ending,
Ah!
but that lasts like 15 seconds. It's the greatest, but like it's not that long. But then there's JP3, which has
Right.
great pteranodons. But then there's Jurassic World, which I think the main street attack with the pteranodons is great. But like, to your point, I agree with you, because like since that, there hasn't really been like a huge pterosaur thing. So what was I going to say? Oh, there's a part later in this article that describes the Mosasaurus in some interesting ways. I don't know if y'all read it or heard that, but okay. So Kep explains, Steven and I said, let's go back to the tone we're most comfortable with, which is closer to the tone of the first movie, although not in a nostalgic way. I don't like excessive nostalgia. Writing the script, he says, was just a ball. I went back to read Michael Crichton's 2 novels again just to get myself back in the proper headspace. And then any thoughts before I continue, just in case?
Good stuff. Good soup.
I was gonna ask something about the Mosasaur. Like, what are your like thoughts on it? Like, especially the Jurassic World one and
I
things
mean,
like
it's
that.
kaiju
Like,
sized
where it,
for sure.
It is
yeah,
big.
But
because I love this new design of it. It's beautiful. Like, I actually want to get toys of it and things like that because it looks amazing.
It looks actually
Yeah.
real, like in that
Yeah.
3D
Mhm.
photo. Like, I was like, oh wait, no, this is
It looks
not a whale.
really
It's-
great, yeah.
yeah.
Its underbelly, that's might not be the correct term, but it looks like a whale, and
Yeah,
I
like a
love that.
humpback whale, like breaching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay. So there's this little feature box up here, and it says Unleash the Beasts, number 1, the T-Rex. And spoiler alert, number 2 is the D-Rex. So when David Kep returned to Michael Crichton's source text for inspiration for Rebirth, one episode from the first book stood out to him. A tense pursuit involving a river raft being chased by the T-Rex. And so they go on to talk about how they brought the river raft scene from the novel back, which we've sort of heard. But what's interesting is they say, but this is a different breed of Tyrannosaur than we've seen previously. Unlike
Ooh.
Rexy from Jurassic Park in the previous World Trilogy, it is bigger, beefier, and even surlier.
Chunky Rex.
Surly. What does that mean?
Surly, I don't know.
They're like grumpy. Like they're looking for a
Oh,
fight.
okay.
Like they're looking,
That yeah, that's what I was
Alright.
gonna say. Is like they're kind of
they're
combative, I guess
bullheaded.
maybe.
Like it's very much like
They want to fuck
And
shit
that
up.
that sounds
Yeah, okay.
that sounds yeah. That sounds fun to me.
I am so
Yeah.
excited for how chunky the Rexes are because
Yeah,
ever since I
too
saw
big.
the life-size model of Sue that's in the traveling exhibit for her, I'm like, good God, like they need to make a chunky Rex, and I am so glad.
It's incredible, yeah. So I believe this is Gareth speaking. He goes on to say, if you were dinosaurs making a film, you wouldn't say, now here comes a human, and then we've got another human here. I'm sorry, that's just like a funny metaphor. Explains Edwards in his own idiosyncratic way. You would say, here comes Robert De Niro, and there's Javier Bardem. The original Jurassic Park T-Rex is one actor. Now here's another one. Dinosaurs making a film. I'm in. Let's go.
See, Dinotopia, it's full circle.
It's like
They're making the movie.
the memes about how like way in the future dinosaurs resurrect humans and make like a park with us.
So we're gonna remake Jim Henson's Dinosaurs, and this is going to be like the pilot episode is them producing this movie based off People Park.
I'm in. Watch it.
So this is the Javier Bardem of T-Rexes? They asked Gareth. Well, the place I tried to pull everything towards was the way people thought T-Rexes looked before we knew better, Edwards reveals. So we looked at some of the designs in Ray Harryhausen's films like Valley of the Guanji. I knew that makes me so excited, and I knew that was going to make you excited. Feeling it would be sacrilegious almost to try and top the iconic near-perfect design of Rexy. We have is that like a canonical reference of Rexy?
Yeah, he's dropped it twice.
I'm joking before anybody gets canonically upset. So Edwards instead decided to tap into his childhood, like all Gwanji. The result, he says, is kind of how, as a kid, I always thought a T-Rex would look. I'm super happy with it. That's really cool, have to say.
Yeah.
Valley of the Guanji, any thoughts, Jay? Anyone?
I've been waiting for a Guanji remake for forever now. I feel like that's a movie that so deserves to be remade. And I think,
haven't there been rumors of a remake?
If there is, I'll be first in line because I think it's so ripe. I also low key I started a fan fiction of my own like years ago when I was working at Jurassic National Monument. And I was like, man, it'd be cool if like Sarah Harding was down here and there's basically Valley of the Guanji, like, you know, with an escaped like Allosaur, right? You know, kind of thing. So like a different take on it where like it basically takes place in the same location, but it's during like Jurassic World. But that's what I do in my free time.
Feels like the plot of this movie is inspired by that a little bit too. It's like this long lost valley. So article continues on the next little 2-page spread, which has that photo of Martin Krebs next to the vehicle that we were talking about. It has that image of Gareth and some crew next to a camera rig next to the big dead Parasaurolophus.
Love that.
Look at all its blood.
Yeah.
Look at how it eats. Then there's sort of a, I don't know if it's a production still or if it's a production photo or if it's a still, but there's sort of a low angle image of Mahershala and Isabella Delgado on the dock, sort of looking up at what I would guess is the mutant. And then there's the big image of the spread is Jonathan Bailey looking at the I don't even know what to call it. It's a weird little mutant creature in a test tube suspended. But that is in the trailer as well. And there's a big blown up quote, and it says, "This is genetic experimentation. Things are not going to work out sometimes." That's David Kep speaking. And I like that to our conversation about genetic experiments and mutants and hybrids earlier. So the article continues, though. Of course, to achieve all that thundering shock and awe, there's one very special yet essential ingredient Edwards and his team absolutely had to get right. Go colossal or go home. Spoiler alert, deadpans Edwards, but there might be a dinosaur in this. We've rejoined the director in early March 2025 in his Soho edit suite. That's in London, I would assume, where he editor. Not sure how to pronounce this person's first name, so I'm not going to, but their last name is Olsen, editor of Jurassic World Rebirth, and ILM's local team under VFX supervisor David Vickery. Shout out to David, he's awesome. Are pulling 7-day weeks to deliver their Rebirth in time for the film's 2nd of July release date.
Oof.
7-day
7-day
weeks.
weeks.
Ooh. Let's see. Olsen kindly cues up a work in progress sequence he and Edwards have prepared for Empire's hungry eyes. Set out on the Atlantic Ocean, but filmed largely in the same Maltese water tank used by Ridley Scott for Gladiator 2, it sees Zora and her crew sailing dangerously close to a Mosasaurus. The huge, the huge chompy sea monster that in Jurassic World gobbled a great white like it was whale bait. Or they say white bait. What does that mean? Does anyone know what white bait means?
Sorry, matey, I'm not up with my boat
Yeah,
terminology and fish terminology.
Second time we've run into maritime terms and have had to change course. So the Mosasaurus, the huge chompy sea monster that in Jurassic World gobbled a great white like it was bait, to hit it with a DNA extracting dart gadget. That's an interesting little bit of information.
That is a mouthful again.
Yeah. The scene is bright, brash, splashy, and fun, with the sea beast in question exhibiting much more character than we've seen previously. It turns out, as wily as it is burly.
Wily and burly.
So, how do y'all feel about that Mosasaurus description? Like, I think the
wily
saying it is showing much more character than we've seen previously is really interesting. But
I think this scene's gonna be sick to go see in 4D.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like the water and all that, and just all like if it's gonna be like fun and like all splash and stuff like that, I think that's gonna be really sick.
Shout out to Double D Derek Davis. He and I saw Jurassic World Dominion in 4DX, and it was an unsettling experience.
Yeah, it was so weird.
It was truly wild. Like the opening when Owen is riding horses with Parasaurolophus, like you were riding the horse too. Anyway, each dinosaur encounter has its own vibe and style, says Gareth Edwards, who describes his dino cast as the greatest hits of new and old. The new include jet-sized pterosaur the Quetzalcoatlus, a couple of towering titanosaurs, which we are told get amorous.
Okay.
So my mind went straight to the Lost World novel. And when a T-Rex gets amorous with a vehicle. But that really makes me wonder what this Titanosaur Amory is going to be. How do y'all feel about that? It feels like Kep and Crichton a little bit, at least.
Yeah,
but
no, I mean, of course, I feel like everybody loves when they treat the dinosaurs as animals and stuff like that, and that's what animals do. That being said, I really also kind of hope that the Titanosaurs fuck some shit up, because I'm so sick of seeing sauropods not get their due as like dangerous animals in this franchise. Honestly, all of it.
For sure.
I love I want ceratopsians. I just want more angry herbivores in general, but specifically sauropods. I really hope they have some cool moments.
Yeah. I feel like this Titanosaur scene in the valley is going to be maybe different from the usual, oh, it's a
Right.
dinosaur
in
type
awe
thing.
moment and stuff like that. I really kind of hope they kill the awe moments and just holy shit, we're
Right.
gonna die.
That's the tagline.
Oh,
Kill the
Yeah.
awe. Holy shit, we're gonna die. So the article goes on, and a cute little aqualops. Think Triceratops crossed with meerkat. That's how they describe it.
Alrighty.
Which I think is sort
yeah,
of
that's apt.
accurate.
Oddly, like a really good description.
Yeah.
What we've seen and stuff like that. I don't hate it.
That befriends the youngest Delgado. Then there are the mutants. Horrific gene-spliced miscreations cooked up at a now deserted InGen facility 17 years earlier. Those
That's
came
the
from my
juicy
strange mind, Kep tells us. But I don't want to... there's going to be a little bit more on this later in the article, I think, but like I don't want to skip over the whole 17 years earlier thing.
Yeah.
What do y'all think about that?
I like it. I think that was like the biggest thing that come out from the article.
Yeah, honestly, like
say.
what does it bring to your mind as far as like the Jurassic timeline goes and all that?
Well, 17 years ago, movies in 2027. What was it? Like 2010? That's
So it'd be 2010, yeah. I mean, if we're interpreting this information
Right.
correctly. But yeah.
How else would you interpret it?
I mean, they got Aqualops. Nobody else got that. I trust Empire. They're a great magazine. I think they're being straightforward about what they're saying. But like part of me is like, do they mean 17 years before Jurassic Park? And the reason I say that is because like I was saying earlier, in every TV spot, ScarJo says this island was a research facility for the original Jurassic Park. And so I wonder if, like, I don't know. But what I do think is that this island has been open longer than 17 years. I think it's been open since before Jurassic Park because of ScarJo's line. But I think whatever we're talking about, the mutant or whatever incident happened in 2010, which is, to me, is really interesting that they chose that spot in the timeline. Is like
this is the first time they're going and touching on stuff in that 14-year gap.
Yeah.
So that's why it's like, holy shit, like if they're opening up that box again,
it also
what's going to happen from that?
Does make me wonder if they're going to like, and this is just me being like, you know, the nerdy fan hoping for this little bit. It's like, why not Sorna, right? Like, why? Like, a part of me is like, okay, another island, fine, if you can like make me understand why there needed to be another island, right? Like, it makes sense why you're not going back to Nublar because most of it was destroyed, right? But Sorna, there's just been nothing for the most part. You know, that we've had teases of it and stuff, but we really don't know what was going on there during the Mizrani years in administration. So it is weird that...
Do we think...
No, go for it.
Go on.
I was
sorry.
Yeah, it is weird that like if this takes place, like this sequence take place in 2010, like that is during the middle of like the Jurassic World era. Like that park has been open for about 5 years at that point and like operational.
Yeah. So do we think that like since, and I'm just speculating here, but like since Sorna is the factory floor, quote unquote, and that's where we're cloning and breeding these animals before we transfer them into the park for our guests, none of whom ever showed up because our park failed. So do we think they would have like separately designated this island as a testing ground? Like, do you think that would make sense? And like, when maybe they were smart enough to be like, we're gonna be doing some weird, crazy shit here. Let's do this far away from everything else, so that we don't, uh, cause any problems, unintentional problems. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud, but um, but my mind, and there's more about this in the article in a second, but like my mind goes straight to like we're experimenting, trying to create the Indominus and all that other kind of stuff. If it's in 2010, since the
Yeah, like
Indominus is in
this is the
2015,
gateway.
so
What I've been seeing and what would be pretty cool if it is 2010 and stuff like that, and if this was the original island for Jurassic Park, that all these experiments led to the creation of the Indominus Rex and perfecting genetic hybrids and stuff like that. Like this was before it. So, which is pretty cool that it's a prequel in a way, but still not. And I think that's what you said before, how they said that they want to go on nostalgic grounds or whatever, but they're still taking leaps forward. When you think about it like that, they're doing that,
yeah,
which is
it's
cool.
it might end up being a short prequel to Jurassic Park, a short prequel to Jurassic World, and a sequel to Dominion. So
My biggest concern is that I just don't like. I hope they don't just use this as ammo to just like, oh yeah, we're just gonna use this here and then never touch it again. You know what I mean? I hope that
yeah,
they need to do that 14-year gap justice if they want to touch on it, like a live action TV show or whatever. I don't think you can fit that in a 15-minute segment in a movie as a flashback scene. I don't think that's doing it justice, and you're still gonna miss out on so much. You know what I mean?
yeah. No, I
That's my
agree.
biggest concern if they use that plot line and stuff like that.
They could do sort of an anthology series where it's like events that occur before Jurassic Park and before Jurassic World, and they sort of jump around or something. But
If they can like do it perfectly and then fill in the gaps in a reasonable way, then sure, fine. But yeah, I don't think you can personally do that in a 15-minute flashback scene or whatever with all that information and lore.
oh yeah, I agree. It deserves lots of screen time, honestly, if
Yeah.
they decide to do it. But so going on, those came from my strange mind, Kep tells us. We saw in some of the previous Jurassic World movies that their experiments made dinosaurs bigger, meaner, scarier, and it occurred to me and Steven that those can't all have gone well. This is genetic experimentation. Things are not going to work out sometimes. Alongside the lumbering, trailer glimpsed Distortus Rex, see page 55, we'll also meet the Mutadons. These feathered fiends originated in an unexpected heart and mouth animal encounter Kep had while doing some DIY on his front porch. I saw these hideous little claws come out, and then this bat pulled itself up out of the hollow space in the column, he recalls. It was 3 in the afternoon, so he was very irritated. Then he stretched out his wings, which they were skinny, scary, and weird, and so big they could wrap around your body twice. I thought, that's going in a movie. So we have a sort of confirmation here from David Kep that these things have feathers.
Yay!
But they sound like they're going to be kind of gnarly. Edwards sums up the Mutadons as a combination of a pterosaur and a raptor, so they can fly. So also confirmation that these things
They're
fly.
just velociraptorids. Like, come on.
Hey, this is... Before we knew the title of this movie, I wanted it to be Jurassic World Chaos Effects. So, yeah. It would have worked. Anyway, now we get why those regular raptors were so alarmed about the mutants. Which brings us to the old camp, where the clever girls are naturally joined by a T-Rex. But also, Jurassic Park 3's fan favorite boss monster, the Spinosaurus.
Pow!
Boss monster.
Yeah, it's about
The
time they
Spinosaurus.
put some respect on this name. from Jurassic Park 3.
Small tangent. That Universal Mega Movie event thing that got announced for this summer.
Yeah.
The big rumor is, or maybe it was confirmed, I don't know, but the big rumor is that they're going to bring the Spinosaurus maquette from
It's
the
the year
studio
of the
tour.
Spinosaurus, man. Like, the amount of love it's getting this year, it really is, like, it
We
is
still
my year.
have ours,
And everyone's
like,
I'm
just
loving
right
it.
for everybody to see.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
know Steven will love it when I say this, but it is a really Spino summer for you guys.
yes.
I'm sad I miss it's winter for me right now, so I miss out on Spino summer. But
Oh man,
it is
it's Spino Summer in the US. You gotta come here.
yeah, I'll just
Um, but so if they bring that maquette down for this event, everyone's gonna be like, wait, that one wasn't in the movie.
well, yeah, like if the yeah.
I'm just making a joke, but that maquette used to be down there all the time, and it was awesome. So, and the other part of that, maybe to talk about real quickly, is that apparently there's going to be a little Dolores the Aqualops roaming around the park.
I hope so.
So, yeah, could be super
I was
cute.
like, that alone
So,
is making me want to come visit, because I like either as a puppet or if they had like a little animatronic one that they pushed around or something. Like, either way.
yeah, for sure. Today's like the please excuse my insane brain and these tangents, but like today's the 70th anniversary of the Muppets or something, I think. And we're talking about Aqualops
Yes.
puppets. And so I was about to ask, am I a man or am I an Aqualops puppet?
Nice. Confirmed 2025.
Like I said,
Caleb.
ignore my insane brain.
My partner's really gonna like that,
I
though.
look into my dark and twisted mind.
Okay, so continuing on the Spinosaurus in this article, they say it now has a chunkier tail thanks to its new paleontological rep as a primarily aquatic predator, and rocks up as a troublesome trio during the Mosasaurus sequence, which Empire can attest sends a love letter to a certain other Spielberg joint. You can't put a fin in the water and have it be a threat to people on a boat without thinking of a particular film. Edward smiles. He goes on to talk
that's
about
cool.
Jaws a little bit. Do what? What's up?
No, that's cool that like they really like because they're really going in on the whole Jaws aspect, which is really cool.
Absolutely. They go on to say Jaws isn't the only non-Jurassic Spielberg riff Empire notices during our wanderings around Elstree. But before we go on with that, I wanted to say I hope the boat scene with the Mosasaurus and the Spinos is like super Jaws coded. Like there's like bumping the boat and like it's very
the
quiet.
suspense.
Like
Whoa.
yeah. Give it to me.
Yeah,
But anyway, inside the gas station mini mart, for example, we spot a rack of Devil's Tower keyrings referencing Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and a magazine whose cover oddly celebrates the 18th anniversary of Back to the Future, which Marshall executive produced, or Spielberg, sorry. So the 18th anniversary of Back to the Future is 2003.
Interesting.
So that's why I say like this island's been open a little while. But I'm also kind of like, why do they have movie anniversary magazines on a testing ground genetic experimentation
in
island?
Barbados.
So scientists need their tabloids. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah,
it's a
they
little
need
village or
their
something.
they need their potato chips too,
Yes.
apparently. So
Or like there's like Aztec ruins and stuff. Maybe like the Aztec people needed their like little servo, like their little convenience station. I don't know. Someone had to build the temples.
True. Mesoamerican,
Right.
let's say. But I forgot where I was going to go with that. It's just that's
Sorry.
interesting. There's a magazine from 2003 in this gas station, but it's probably just Frank Marshall messing around. More impressively, the set for the Quetzalcoatl sequence, where the team try to raid the clifftop nest of prehistory's largest flying predator, is an ancient Mesoamerican temple whose clinging vines and snarling stone statues bring to mind Raiders of the Lost Ark. I had to resist the urge to put in booby traps, says David Kep. However, Edwards wasn't simply hired because he was a Spielberg fan. He was, says Marshall, marked out for his visual style, most recently highlighted by the creator, where he honed his fluid, light-footed, location-driven approach to VFX and world-building, discovering moments in camera, then seamlessly augmenting them using CGI. In the edit suite, we asked the director how that innovative methodology gelled with a 32-year-old franchise. Gareth says, I mean, this is obviously a giant machine. You have to lay the tracks in front of the train, but that said, we sort of met in the middle. There's a bit of handheld camera work in this film, so I got to shoot some stuff a little bit more guerrilla-ish. And that makes
That's
me
cool.
personally really, really happy. Because if you watch Rogue One and Monsters and Gareth's other films, like that style in there is just awesome. And then he says, where the actors could do whatever they wanted, and I'd try and find all the beautiful compositions in it as they did the scene. I felt that gave a little bit of a realistic edge. This distinctive organic quality required the production to be as adventurous as its characters. I was super keen that we go to real locations, says Edwards, and really try and do as little on... Sorry, next page. Little on the backlot as possible. In other words, he had to take his cast and crew out into the wild where real predators roam. Rupert Friend's strongest memory of the Rebirth shoot involves being up to his neck in the murky water of a Thai mangrove swamp. Oh, don't touch that little red bug there, he recalls being told. Why not? It's deadly. You'll die if you touch that. Okay, might have been good to know that before, but all right. Bailey, meanwhile, remembers the reptiles. There were really dangerous water snakes swimming past us, he says happily. What?
You know,
That is the opposite of Indiana Jones. So the fear and adrenaline was as real as it could be. He also loved the fact that, on the first day of shooting on a remote island, the rain was so bad it caused a mudslide. I thought, this is brilliant, says Jonathan Bailey. As Johansson puts it, the conditions were tough. The jungle is not an easy place to visit, and it's certainly a hard place to shoot. We were in Thailand during monsoon season.
Oh, shit.
And then we went to Malta in August. The incredible summer heat in this latter locale was exacerbated by the fact that roughly a third of the film takes place on the ocean. And they spent weeks in Malta Film Studios' water tank. So that's another interesting little tidbit. Roughly a third of the film takes place on the ocean. There was no escape from the sun, says Johansson, of working on the Mosasaurus Spinosaurus hunt scenes. It was just baking every day, and you're on this rig 30 feet in the air, or whatever it is, and it's moving up and down and sideways, and there's all this water being shot out of these cannons towards you. It was brutal. To do it one day would be hard, but to do it continuously for like 6 weeks or whatever...
Shit.
It's intense. Whenever he misses Malta, Edwards jokes, I just put some blue screen in the oven, turn it up to 400 degrees, and stick my head in for a while, because that's what it felt like. He's in his bag with these metaphors. So he goes on to say they say he confesses to feeling a little guilty about what he put his actors through. At the end of each day, I'd try and reassure them that tomorrow was going to be easier because of this reason. And then the next day would be even harder for either precisely that reason or a brand new other reason. And after a while, they just stopped believing me. Still, the cast don't begrudge him in their adventure, especially as he and his crew were right there with them. When you're wading through the mangroves and you see them all in wetsuits and they're all submerged, it shows how everyone was literally neck deep in the filmmaking. So the big blown up still on this page is Scarlett Johansson, Zora Bennett, in that tunnel that looks very much like an alien movie with the light coming in through the grates. And there's a big blown up quote from her that says, "It harkens back to the first film. It has a lot of good jump scares. The stakes are high." So I
She's
like
also
that.
holding a pistol.
Yes, I should have said that. Sorry.
No, it's
She's
fine. It's just
crouching, holding her pistol in that tunnel.
it's just interesting because like always like weaponry with Jurassic World, it's like trank centric weaponry, but that
True,
generally
and
looks like a gun.
yeah, like since the trailer, it's like, all right, ScarJo's being a badass clearly in this
Yeah.
film with that shot of her shooting in the tunnel. So we the next little sort of feature thing here is the Unleash the Beasts #2, the D-Rex. And this is where we got some really kind of interesting consequential information. The final scene Gareth Edwards plays for Empire in the Rebirth edit suite is actually the film's opening scene. Set 17 years ago, it takes place at an InGen facility where hazmat suit wearing technicians have been tinkering with dino DNA, winding up with perhaps the nastiest, weirdest looking creature we've seen yet in the Jurassic series, the Distortus Rex, or the D-Rex. Although, in true horror fashion, the prologue only grants the briefest, shadiest glimpses of it, swathed in dry ice. You go into all this detail while designing it, and then it's like, okay, now let's hide it, and hide it even more, and leave it to the imagination even more, Gareth says. Gareth talks about how he knew what he wanted it to look like when he read Kep's script. And this is that quote we've heard, which is, "It's kind of like if the T-Rex was designed by H.R. Giger," referring to the Swiss surrealist creator of Aliens title creature. And then that whole thing had sex with a Rancor from Return of the Jedi. So he's not holding back with these quotes, Gareth. It's a design that I was really happy with. I'd like to buy the toy of it when it comes out.
Haven't seen that.
So yeah, it's out there. Empire has allowed a good look at this six-limbed freak during a visit upstairs to the VFX floor, where supervisor David Vickery is running through some process shots fresh in from ILM San Francisco base. It's hard to improve on Edwards' description. It is truly a beast, though one which Edwards and Vickery hope will elicit some mixed emotions. "It's as if another animal has been wrapped around the T-Rex," says Vickery of the bulbous-headed thing we see, whose little Rex foreclaws sit alongside a pair of burly gorilla-like arms. Gareth wanted us to feel sorry for it as well as terrified, because its deformities have caused it some pain, and there's an encumbrance to it. It's a bit like Sloth from the Goonies. Initially, if you're horrified by something, but by the end, you empathize with it. And then they reference Goonies here at the end, and they say, "Hey, you guys, prepare for mutant mayhem." So, the opening scene.
Yeah.
Apparently 17 years ago.
It really is Godzilla-esque with the whole like in the nuclear thing, and he loses his wife, like and shit like that. I really get that vibe from the whole, if this is going to be the opening scene and it's like a flashback scene. I think it's very Godzilla-esque, which is cool. I like it.
I like it too. I like the idea that it's menacing, but it is also sort of, you know, you end up having compassion for it, because it didn't ask to be created, and so I think that's. I mean, I don't know. Would y'all say we've ever had sort of that sort of thing thematically with the hybrids, or?
Yeah, I was gonna ask that because they didn't really play that card of feeling sorry for the Indominus Rex or anything like that. Like,
Did we
you know
feel
what I
sorry
mean?
for the Scorpius Rex?
I think like because there was parts that Scorpius
don't
Rex
know.
was given like weird little close-ups and stuff like that, and so I think that maybe they were trying to get you to at least empathize or view it as more of a character than possibly like Indominus Rex or iRaptor was, but I don't think like I really hope for Distortus because the design itself, like I'm kind of iffy on just because it is so Rancor and it is so like Cloverfield monster. Like it's
Yeah, so
I
weird.
wish it was a little bit more Geiger or something weird, kind of. But I think
Yeah.
where it could shine through is through a performance, you know, of like changing from a monster into something that we're like, oh fuck, you know, what have we become? You
Yeah, yeah.
know, our greed, capitalism. See, it all ties around. It all comes back. See, this is why capitalism is bad, guys. Is because it creates monsters for our enjoyment. Um,
I think, I think you could have finished that sentence with a few other words. But I that's really interesting to me. Just that's going to make this story really unique and I mean really make it feel fresh, I think is like that's just because in the last trilogy we didn't really nobody was like the Indominus like we set it free. We must set it free, the Indominus,
well, even
um
like thinking kind of back to something that we mentioned earlier about like if there was open sores on it and stuff, and how the Indoraptor originally was supposed to have sores and stuff in its design, and then they covered them up, you know, like in post. Which is a weird thing, and I wonder why they did that, and why now they're choosing to go back.
well, and you say that and it makes me think of those CinemaCon posters and there's the one with the raptor's leg. I forget which character is in that poster. Just off the top of my head because there have been a lot of images lately.
Yeah,
But
I want to say it's Duncan or Scarjo, and that's very generic
I
because
think
they're
it's
most of them.
I
ScarJo.
think it's Scarjo.
Yeah, it's one of.
I think
Yeah.
it's ScarJo, but what I'm getting at though is that in that image, the raptor's leg sort of has like a open wound sore looking thing. So and I hadn't made that connection. So yes,
I
I'm
don't
all
know.
for that.
I know I said this in like previous podcasts and stuff like that, but like because they mentioned in the article, I think, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but like it gets frozen again or something like that. They mentioned something about freezing.
They don't say it gets frozen again. They just say in the intro scene it's like shrouded in dry ice.
Okay, which reminds me of like the Scorpius and like how that was frozen and stuff like that, and how I said I don't know. I get like season 3 vibes and things like that for this movie. And I know I've been
Yeah.
banging that drum for a bit, but like the whole thing of like, even in the trailer, you see the pipes like steaming and things like that. And what happens if they do something in the island, you know, something messes up and they, what's the word? Defrost? Defrost
Yeah,
it? Like
they
how the Scorpius gets defrosted and stuff like that. I don't
accidentally
know. I'm
turn the
just getting
power
the.
on.
Yeah, I'm just getting those vibes. I don't know. I'm just getting a lot of like Camp Cretaceous season 3 like
The best one.
yeah, like that's why I'm just seeing a lot of it like shades in it, which is I'm happy for it.
Absolutely. And I was gonna say like the whole sympathetic towards Amy thing kind of gives credence to it being called
Yeah.
Amy. Because like if it's
Yeah.
semi I mean, I don't want to say it is sentient, I suppose, but like, aware of its own like existence, that kind of thing.
And I think
So
too, for me, like knowing it's 17 years old at least now, like
it's a teenager.
It's and probably in D-Rex years, it's like a senior citizen. Like
Oh yeah,
I,
true.
I would just think like, I mean, we don't know how long dinosaurs necessarily what their lifespan was, but clones usually don't, and genetically modified things usually don't live as long because they have all these issues.
Especially
So
if they're like fucked up.
right, so I'm now wondering if they like mercy kill this thing, and that's why we kind of like feel bad for it.
Oh
They
man.
Ripley her?
Yeah, because we have
Damn.
to.
Yeah, and that kind of makes me wonder, like, why didn't the InGen scientists do that?
Yeah, especially like.
Because they're assholes.
Hey.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I think like either they're idiots, they're assholes, and wanted to just keep it alive, or it was like a monetary.
Or
There's
maybe they
all
thought
kinds
they
of.
killed it.
Yeah, I'd say
Yeah,
that's
that
probably
too.
like the safe
Yeah.
Or they're
play,
like,
but
oh, it'll die on its
Right.
own,
yeah, we froze it. That's
Which
done.
which goes to the first adjective I used, which is idiot.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it could have been like a very like Crichton kept thing of like, oh, just seal it off and get out of here. We're done. Like,
Cold
and not
storage.
actually
Right.
take care of it. Yeah.
Cold storage.
Uh-huh.
This is, if the cold storage movie ends up not being what we want it to be, Rebirth is our cold storage because it's written by the same guy.
Mhm.
So,
just no
It
exploding.
is interesting
maybe.
because it makes me think about like how Wu in the novels was like, there's no use in getting starry-eyed about these creatures. That's why we have to create like new versions and stuff of them all the time and have to basically like replace stock. So what does make it so special that it was kept? Or the Scorpius or any of them for that matter. Like what, like, you know, it's I think it's going to be fascinating, its importance.
Yeah, I agree. I was gonna say, I wonder like if InGen had like some quote unquote legitimate
Right.
reason to keep it alive. Like maybe the twist is I don't. Spoiler alert in case this ends up being the plot, but I wonder if, like, we've been talking all this time about we got to get DNA from the three biggest things to create a life-saving drug for humanity. What if actually the life-saving drug just comes from this mutant?
Yep.
And
Yeah.
what if we have to kill it to get it? And like, I don't know. That goes to something else I was going to say, which is like, I wonder if there's more than one, and I wonder what other stuff we're going to see on this weird island.
I really hope there's not a final battle between it and a dinosaur is my only thing, and I know that might be a high hope, but that's my only thing. I just really want I just want it to come down to the humans and it.
Sure.
Nah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I can see it, but I think it's gonna end in the way we all know it's gonna end. Yeah.
Rexy pops up. Takes care of it.
I hope, like,
my island, bitch.
Yeah.
I think like a
I'm
final.
here now too. This is my home.
I think like a final climactic confrontation is like a kind of a Jurassic thing now. And to be clear, and maybe this is just my personal opinion, it's been a thing since Jurassic Park. But
yeah.
I hope like with David kept writing, like, it's maybe framed a little bit differently or that kind of thing, but
yeah, the ending will be like the Jurassic World Mosasaurus flying with Blue and Rexy on it, and then they land on the mutant and then kill it. Yeah.
We're back, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm all for the Mosasaurus chomping on everybody it wants to. So, yeah.
Oh, we also had that new Dilophosaurus thing that came out this week from like Peru Universal, that animation thing.
Yeah, it's like a little like advertising spot, and it just is the Dilophosaurus shrieking
spitting.
and spitting, and then just like the logo of the movie.
What do you think of the design though? Because it's spotty, like it's spotty frills.
It's like the novel, is what I thought of.
Yeah.
A lot of people are saying it's like the Dominion one, but the Dominion one didn't have spots. It had like dirt on its frill, but that was it. It didn't have like the whole spots and things like that. If anything, it was like
It wasn't. Yeah, I wouldn't say the
like that
Dominion
one.
one was like outright spotted.
No.
It was like splotched, maybe, but like the Dilophosaurus is also always kind of has that sort of pattern.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, sorry.
no, you're good. Go on.
This is
No, I just brought that in.
no,
Oh,
no,
sorry.
no.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm saying anymore.
This is like very reaching. I feel it struck me as odd that in this week we had two major things dealing with like labs in Jurassic. Like this article comes out and it talks about the prequel, like the prelude scene, like in 17 years beforehand, and all of that, as well as the fact that like we were given this laboratory image for survival, and. It's just interesting to me because I think like say they could kind of release any image they wanted to probably, but the fact that they chose like, oh, you guys like news about stuff that was going on in the labs, we'll give that to you. We got that. That. So it was just a fun little bit of being like, oh, this is a lab week.
Lab week.
Lab week, like we're in high school.
I hope it's like the uni marketers are like, no, this is lab week, and we're gonna release these.
Yeah, on their in the whiteboard in their conference room, it just says
like
lab week.
Lab week.
Yep.
I mean, to be fair, I do think that Jurassic and labs, like, there's one in every movie.
Yeah.
So
labs and tall grass.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. My favorite cast member is the tall grass for Rebirth.
True. My fafavorite non-human character.
Yeah.
So
deserves an award.
Just to finish out this Empire article really quick. It's getting into talking about the future. So they say it's not inconceivable that should he choose to remain in the Jurassic arena he helped build all those years ago, Kep will be inhaling the scent of soundstage foliage for years to come. Though whether we'll be rejoining Zora's gang, at least the ones who remain unmasticated by mutadons, or meeting a whole new crew remains unclear. We're keeping both of those ideas in play, let's say it that way, says Marshall. But, it's such a wonderful cast. I hope we can figure out what to do next with them. Edwards hasn't been involved in any Rebirth 2 talk. I haven't heard a single comment from anyone about sequels, he says. But I'm a great believer in just trying to make a great film and the rest will take care of itself. It feels like a blank canvas ahead. To Kep, the point is less about what exactly will fill that canvas than the fact there's still so much enthusiasm for it. Despite mixed reviews, Dominion bagged $1 billion. There's a magical nature to the Jurassic films that has always held, he says. He recalls the childhood trips he'd make from his small Wisconsin town to Chicago's Field Museum to gawp at bizarre, huge, yet somehow relatable skeletons. They were so massive, but they are not monsters. They are animals. I remember on the first movie, there was a rule that if you ever refer to them as monsters, you have to put $1 in the jar. That was a remarkable... That's a crazy story to me. That's amazing.
No, I love that. That's fantastic.
Yeah. They are animals and they have the motivations of animals. We see a lot of monster movies and the monsters usually have some malevolent streak, but dinosaurs follow animal rules like your dog might. Most importantly, they're not around anymore, so they're safe. They're a safe, terrifying, exciting fantasy. And that is about as Jurassic as it gets. So, and scene.
Well done, Caleb, by the way. Good shit. read that whole thing.
Basically, yeah. I skipped a couple little things, but
Yeah, but you got
Um,
the nitty gritty parts, the good
that
parts.
was I thought that was really great, honestly.
I think that's been their best one,
Yeah.
even though we did complain at the start, saying I'm sick of hearing, like I'm sick of the talking and stuff. And they were like, "Yeah, that's a really good
Great
article."
article.
Yeah.
Top notch.
Yeah, shout out to Empire for sure for all their coverage
Mhm.
and photography and all that stuff. I'm super excited for this movie. Are y'all on that level?
Yeah. I have a question to ask everyone now that we've
Okay.
gone through the article.
Hmm.
How do you guys feel? Like, do you guys want to see a trailer too? Because that's like a
Oh
big
yeah,
thing
good
this
question.
week.
Good question.
Like, yeah. Like, how you guys feeling about it? Do you want it? You know?
Well, we're recording this podcast Friday, May 9th, and I think as of right now that a trailer is quite well, maybe not quite possibly, but possibly going to be coming like next week. ScarJo's hosting SNL, etc. But to answer your question, I don't. I would be completely fine without a second trailer, and like just keep marketing the movie with TV spots and articles.
Mhm.
Talk to
Same.
David Kep. But how do y'all feel?
Yeah, I'm the same. Like even if a trailer comes out, I don't know that I'll actually watch it. Like I'm just ready for the
Yeah, that's a
movie.
good point as well.
Yeah.
If I agree that it's probably imminent, like there will be a second trailer. I will probably watch it, but I don't need one or necessarily want one.
Yeah.
I often feel like, again, too much is revealed in the trailers that feels like something that we were talking earlier about, like, that we've only seen 2 or 3 minutes of the film, this 2 hour and 14. I remember back in like 2008, I had calculated that I had seen 22 minutes of The Dark Knight from all of the trailers put together, or 22 minutes. Yeah, 22 minutes of The Dark Knight, which is like whatever, a 2.5 hour film. And I was like, that's ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
That so much has been like shown to you ahead of time. It's wild to me. And I feel like some of the best like twists, I just was fortunate enough to go on my first Disney cruise, which was awesome. Had a blast, and I watched Captain America on it, Brave New World, and I honestly felt that like the Red Hulk, which had been spoiled like in all of the marketing, could have been the hidden thing, and that they should have gone with. And I completely blanking on his name, but the bad guy, that should have been the reveal in the trailer, because I think people could have pieced together what might happen, and that entices it. And that's kind of where I'm at with a lot of the twists for this film. Like, I'm just like, please, of course I have questions. Of course I want like my questions and to have our answers and to be satiated and stuff. But I'm so like, please don't ruin it in like a couple second clip because you think that's going to just pull in a couple more viewers, like I want that surprise. I want to go in and have that, the experience that I love to have with the Jurassic film in the cinema.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, it's been a massive topic this week. Like everyone like on Twitter has been, where's the trailer? Trailer 2.
Hey,
And
listen, we've had 2 popes since the last Jurassic World Rebirth trailer. So
It's wild.
Weird stat. But okay, I'll
shout out
take
to Josh for all of his information that he's provided about all of that.
Nice.
But I was gonna say, I think a reason people are like sort of excited about the second trailer maybe is that people at CinemaCon were saying that the second trailer like brings the scares. And so that's something that makes me want to watch a second
Yeah.
trailer.
I get that aspect of it as well, because like they have been leading saying, oh, we're going, like there's going to be horror. Like they mention a horror a lot in the articles and the drops that they have been doing. But in the first trailer, like you don't really see them like lean into that. So I get that people want to see another trailer where they touch on that. But I just feel like, yeah, leave that for the movie. And with the like the fact that they have now confirmed there's more types of mutants, I just feel like they should have saved it. I was already like not that I still ate it up the first trailer, but I wish they saved the D-Rex for the movie as like an alien Romulus, like that
Oh God, yep.
twist to save it like in the movie and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But yeah, I was
Yeah.
very not upset, but I was just like, oh come on, like why are you now saying there's more mutants? Like save it, just save that in there. Just like talk about the dinosaurs, not about that stuff. You know?
I
If
hope and I wonder if like they are still saving some
I hope so.
abomination.
My
But I don't
biggest
know.
hope, and I don't want like to get anyone else like excited or whatever. It's just one thing that I would love to see. But I would love to see if they like put in invisible Carnos, like that scene or something like that, camouflaging Carnos. Like that would be amazing. That's one thing that I'd love to see. But
Audio listeners were all shaking our heads in agreement.
yeah,
Because like with the gas station that
yeah,
is present, I was like, oh, give me some, and we're like genetic mutations, so like give me some camouflaging Carnotaurus, please.
like that would be iconic.
Maybe that's how Krebs dies. I'm gonna call it right now.
Okay,
Just
we'll come back.
it'll just we'll be right back. But yeah, that's my big thing. But I hope there is like a lot of surprises for, you know, the hectic fans like us that live and breathe Jurassic. I hope there's is some surprises because obviously we're gonna read everything and stuff like that. So we're gonna know majority of what's going on compared to, you know, the general audience and things like that. So they're
Mhm.
gonna be surprised no matter what. But I hope there is just a few things for like the hardcore fans as well to be surprised about and not know going into the movie and things like that. So that's why I don't really want a second trailer. But again, I understand because they want to see the horror aspect of it. But yeah, damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah. I want Carnotaurus to show up because it's kind of become like a favorite dinosaur of mine over the last few years because of Camp Cretaceous and Fallen Kingdom and Dominion and Chaos Theory. So, so seeing it actually come back in a movie and be able to camouflage would be sick. So,
And the Hammond Collection Carno is one of the best.
absolutely, absolutely. As far as what you're saying about like, you know, things surprises for fans in Kep we trust, I guess.
Yeah, I
Hopefully,
trust her in good hands.
yeah, and yeah.
I trust his 7 commandments. No retcons.
There's 9.
I'm
There's
letting
9.
Oh, 9. Yeah, sorry, 9. I think we're in very, very good hands. I'm always the first to complain about, marketing and how, Universal can do better. But I know with the shows and the movies that we're in safe hands. Like, I know maybe not Dominion and stuff like that, but with this movie, just talking about this one, I think we're in safe hands.
Past behind you.
Yeah.
Truth. It's a good thing. Good thing to generally remember. So I think that's a good spot to start heading towards the end of this podcast since we've been talking for almost 2 hours. But just briefly, want to say that there is an episode of the InGeneral podcast that's going to come out right before this one, and if you're listening to this in the future, you know this already. But in case you don't, it's an episode with myself and a few composers talking about Alexander Desplat being hired as the composer for Jurassic World Rebirth, and Desplat, however you want to say it, before anyone asks. Depends how French you want to be. But in case you didn't know about that episode, go check out that episode. But at the end of this podcast, I wanted to ask you all, what do you think about Alexander Desplat? Have you heard his music? Do you think this is a good choice, etc.?
I am so excited. This was definitely on like my top 3 choices. If it wasn't going to be John Williams himself and it wasn't going to be James Newton Howard, this is who I wanted. And I am so beyond excited.
For sure.
I don't know much about him, to be honest. So if you guys are happy, I am happy. I've only gotten really into the composer like conversation in like the last year or so because Caleb and the rest of you guys in the group chat talk about us. I'm like, I should probably like start dabbling in a bit and stuff like that. But the only one that's like really spoken out to me is Chaos Theory composer Leo. I forget his last name, but
Bierenberg, yeah,
he's
yeah.
amazing. But yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. If you guys like this guy, I like this guy. I'm happy.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same. I'm like, great. And then I looked up his movies and I was like, oh, okay. I get it. Yeah.
Did y'all enjoy the video of the music from Rebirth?
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. You know.
Yeah. It was awesome. Personally, I'm super excited too. I think it's a great choice. But the music in that video was very Jurassic, very Lost World in a couple of places. It was good stuff. So I think, like you were saying, Jaden, we're in good hands on a lot of fronts on this movie. So, any final Jurassic thoughts before we get out of here?
Super Colossal Spinosaurus. Boy,
Yeah.
I'm so excited. Oh, I guess I'll show you guys, but sorry to everyone else. But I finally got my Allosaurus and Ghost Hammond collection. They're
Ooh,
finally
nice.
in Australia.
Nice.
Woo.
Beautiful.
Yeah, 'cause we have to
Awesome.
wait like a long time.
The Hammond Collection Ghost is pretty great.
Yeah, I had to buy it. R.I.P. Ghost.
Yeah.
Can I like sidebar? What do you guys think of? Everybody's seen Chaos Theory, right? The killing of
Yeah.
Ghost. Have
Yeah.
you guys discussed that?
I kind of spoiled it to
yeah,
Alex.
I mean yeah,
Sorry,
we've touched on it a bit.
I was
yeah,
like, what is
And
everybody?
Ryan as
'Cause
well, I
that
think we
was,
spoiled it
I think
for.
that was one of the most impactful deaths for me. Like this entire franchise. I was like, what the fuck? So
yeah. I mean,
It definitely threw me off.
spoiler alert for if you haven't watched Chaos Theory season 3 by now, but I was impacted by the handler being chomped.
Like what the fuck?
I was like, oh wow, I was just not expecting that at all. So,
Anyway.
it was Carnotaurus, my beloved. So
yeah, no, I said it on one of the other podcasts, but I found it weird about Ghosts. Like, I thought it like if the whole point of bringing it back from falling out of a plane, getting hit by a motorbike
Right.
and falling, that I thought it would have died then, but the fact it just shakes the water off and then they just use Ghost to die again, like to the Carno, I'm just like, what was the point of that? They should have just like that is my biggest pet peeve. That's it.
No.
Like I love season 3, but that was it for me. I was just like, I just didn't get it.
I choose to remember that Ghost rode that motorcycle.
Just rode into the fight.
Like that amazing
okay.
Jurassic Park 3 concept art.
Yep, I'm on board. Okay, I'll stop having that little pet peeve. Yep. But no, I thought it was really cool, like what they did with the handler.
Yeah.
I think the death was, I'm happy that they did it because I'd rather them do that than never use her again, like our most interesting characters in the Jurassic franchise. You know what I mean? They bring interesting characters and then never use them again. So I'm happy she got an ending and things like that, and she had a significant role in her time that she was around.
And it added stakes too. So
yeah, added
always
the
a good
holy
thing.
shit factor.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Love Chaos Theory.
Yeah, Chaos Theory is fantastic. But anyway, perhaps another season of that coming after Rebirth. So that's part of the future. So anyway, I think that's a good spot to end this podcast. This has been fun, y'all. Thanks for joining me, Samantha, Jaden, Letter J. Be sure to visit the Jurassic Outpost YouTube channel and JurassicOutpost.com for your latest news. This has been episode 154 of the InGeneral podcast. Thank you for listening, and leave a comment down below. And we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.